Welcome. My name is Katrina, and thanks for joining me on Just My 3 Cents. Today is January 10th, and today is technically known as National Quitters Day. So it's the day traditionally the day that everyone who made their so-called New Year's resolution is known to make it to this day and quit their New Year's resolution. So I wanted to kind of visit this topic. It was actually I don't say near and dear topic, but I wanted to visit this topic, and it coincides with the way I wanted to title this particular episode, Reasons versus Excuses. I no longer do New Year's resolutions, and the reason why I no longer do New Year's resolutions was because I felt it was loaded. It felt loaded, and it felt like it was set up, in a sense, to mentally, anyways. It felt like it was loaded and set up as a way to fail. And maybe that was just me at the time, if you will, looking at it in the wrong way. So, because I may have been looking at it the wrong way, and because I just was not there looking at it properly, I chose, you know what, I'm not doing New Year's resolutions anymore. And this was a decision I made probably about 3 years ago. So, about 3 years ago, I decided no more New Year's resolutions because I didn't want to feel like I was setting myself up to fail. Because that's what it felt like. You make this broad, grand resolution, and then maybe I do make it past January 10th. Maybe I make it to February. Then here comes March. Guess what? Nothing. Then you feel it. You start to feel the, oh my God, what did I just do? And then the rest of the year goes by and you didn't do it. And now here comes November, December, and you didn't do anything that you said you was going to do. So rather than feel disappointed in myself for not doing what I said I was going to do, I decided, you know what? Let me stop feeling like I'm setting myself up for failure and just try to encourage myself. What would I like my mentality to be, my mental to be? So I started kind of reframing instead of resolution. What would I like to affirm for myself? So affirmation, if you will. And this wasn't just a me conclusion. This was, through therapy with a psychiatrist and all of that good stuff. So over the past few years, instead of a particular goal, it was more of a kind of a word affirmation. So the word affirmation, if you will, the word that I chose for 2025 was abundance. I want this year to be a year of abundance. I'm not going to go into that as to what that entails. It actually came from a behind the scenes story between me and my husband. It's actually kind of funny. But once I kind of thought about that word a little bit more, I was like, you know what? What's wrong with that? Who doesn't want a life of abundance, or, things to feel abundant? Now, obviously, I want it in the positive. I don't want an abundant pile of to come my way. But that's what I want. I want this year to be a year of abundance. So, again, no more resolutions, but more so looking for positive affirmations on how I want the year to feel for me. And that's what I'm going to try to attain and obtain. But anyways, back to the episode title, Reasons versus Excuses. I, as many I'm sure, have been on a weight loss, I was going to say journey, but it has not been a journey. It has been an odyssey. A long trek around the moon, the sun, the universe, the galaxies, and all of the above. It started way back yonder. Whoo, child. This has been an odyssey. I'll just keep it there. But yeah, it's just on and off, on and off, on and off. Again, you know the story. Everybody's that has been going through that weight loss thing knows it's an on and off cycle. It's an on and off battle. It's an on and off track. So anyways, it's not nothing that is new. It's been something I've been dealing with. Over that time, I've had a combination of both reasons and excuses. And unfortunately, both those two have lived in the same universe, as far as why it has been such a struggle, why it has been such a battle. As far as reasons are concerned, there's a lot of medical issues, some self-inflicted, but then also some that I have no control over. Don't want to go into a million of those or any of those particularly, but unfortunately, the moment I would say the first signs of medical issues, if you will, reared their ugly head after the birth of my first son about 20 years ago. But it wasn't even after him. It was shortly after I gave birth to him and fractured and sprained my ankle. And it was as if all of those things kind of just were like, hey, here we go. Now here goes a lifetime of crazy. Get ready. On top of, now you just had this child and introduced cortisol to the chat. So it's like, before you had stress, everybody had stress, but now you have stress as a new mom. And it's as if the body was like, oh no, this is a different type of stress. We're going to treat this stress differently. So now my body was treating stress in a way I had never treated stress before. So fast forward to the second child, which was ironically 7 years later. I had been doing well with my weight. That wasn't really an issue. Then again, 7 years, just fine again, still with my weight. A second child came along, still relatively fine or whatever. But then things started to really take another turn. Other things started to change within. And it was like, okay, that ankle that you had a problem with, now we're going to make some other things happen there. Oh, by the way, you're going to be arthritic in that ankle. And then we're going to make that knee on that leg start acting up. Oh, and then we're going to have some other things. And it was just like a combination of other things. Just like ripple. Again, reasons, right? So reasons started stacking up in that category. And then all of a sudden my weight started getting out of control. Now, during this time, there were some self-inflicted things, yes, that were occurring. So I can definitely take accountability for that. Number one, but before I get to number one, this is actually the most important number one. As you see me here today, I do just want to clarify for some people who may be out there in the world, not all big people are big because they are eaters. And we don't go to the buffet line and just get down. I am not in this body because I eat too damn much, okay? I have people who can attest to that. I am not here because eating too much is my problem. Contrary to that, lack of eating, believe it or not, I don't eat enough food, but obviously not eating the right food is one of those problems. Like I said, self-inflicted, so not eating the right foods all the time, even though, again, I am a vegetable head, which is crazy, but not eating enough food, which I didn't quite know was the thing, even though you're like trained calorie deficit. So I was in a calorie deficit, right? Technically. But the other self-inflicted thing that was happening is, like a lot of working people at this time, I wasn't exercising. I was getting up, going to work, coming back home, doing my routine, done for the day. And this was the pattern over time. And so as this was my pattern over time, pounds started packing on. And again, even though I'm in a so-called calorie deficit, the calories that I am putting on aren't the best, of course, but they aren't the worst either. But again, I can take self accountability on that. But again, also proper reasons was that there were a combination of other real medical issues that were also beneath the surface, that I wasn't quite sure what was going on, and I actually wasn't even getting treated at the time. So fast forward to about 2-3 years ago. Actually about 2-3 years ago. I'll just bring it up to date. where I finally was like, oh my God, what is going on? Actually, we'll fast forward all the way up to last year. I think I had a mini panic attack in the airport or something like that when I was late to my flight. Um, couldn't make it from Terminal Elemental P all the way to Terminal A in Miami, and I really thought it was the big girl in me that could not make it to my terminal. It was Miami's fault. It wasn't me. It was Miami's fault. They was awesome. Anyway, so after that, I came back home. I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, oh my God, I really gotta lose some weight. I had to get this shit under control. Excuse my language, but like that was embarrassing. But again, it wasn't fully my fault. Miami was on some shit that day. And the little SkyTerm thing was messed up. Come on now. I'm in terminal, goddamn in the middle of nowhere. And they had at the end them little cart people with nobody on the cart. Nobody was on the cart. But they wouldn't help nobody out. I digress. Anywho. So I had a little mini panic attack. So by the time I got home, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this weight under control. Like, what's going on? Like, ugh. Anyway, so I finally met with a doctor or whatever. We met. They even confirmed, girl, it's not. You're not the worst eater. You're not even a bad eater. You just, number one, not eating enough. Number two, you need to get your ass moving. And number three, you might need a little help because your other medical conditions are slowing you down. But you might need a little help to kind of, you can't really fix those right now. You're working on them. You can't fix those, but you need a little help. So as of July, I did start, getting some help with that. So I've been actively, maybe not every day, but probably about 90% of the time since July in the gym. Boom. So since July to now, I've lost about a total of 35 pounds or whatever. So I'm actively doing that. And I'm happy doing that. It's not fully about the weight loss. It's mostly about the change of mindset, the change of attitude. I mean, I do feel better physically to a degree, but it was mostly about the change of mindset. I did finally admit that I was mixing a lot of my reasons and excuses and combining the two. I was using a lot of my, oh, well, this medical issue is causing me not to do this. This pain in my knee because I have a torn meniscus, or oh, my knee hurts too bad, so I can't do this. So look at the swelling, I can't. I was using a lot of my reasons for why I couldn't get up and do something. And like I said, it took I think that mini panic attack to finally remind me, like, you know what do you have to lose other than your life, number one, but also two, what's it gonna hurt if you try? And so that was kind of the biggest thing. What's it gonna hurt if you try? And if you try, what if you actually win or succeed? Not win, but succeed. And so that's really what got me to like I said, to sit down with a doctor to kind of get kind of things in order to find a plan to get moving or whatever. So like I said, up to today, about 35 pounds down, and we're gonna keep moving and things like that. Obviously there's a number goal, but it's more so a change of mindset and a change of mindset, because oddly so, I still have that main problem, the food. I think one of the things is the medication I was taking prior and the medication I'm taking now. It actually one of the medications I was taking prior to meeting with the nutritionist is for migraines. I do suffer migraines pretty regularly, severely. But one of those stupid medications I had no idea does actually have an appetite suppressant in it. So there were days that I probably ate one meal a day. Had no idea that was because of the medication I was taking. So it wasn't until I switched over to a weight loss medication that had this migraine medication in it. And I'm like, oh, I'm already taking that. And they're like, oh, so you should be used to it. I'm like, yeah, but that's for migraines. They're like, no, but it's an appetite suppressant. But the problem is, while all these people are telling you to cut calories, they're forgetting to remind you that you need fuel to feed your body, and without fuel, you won't lose weight. So that's one of the hardest things of this weight loss odyssey, is especially when you have something that's telling you, nah, you ain't hungry, don't eat, you're good, go do something else, you're not hungry. Especially when you have something telling you that to make yourself eat, but then to come back and be like, damn, well, I didn't eat enough for the day, now I'm not burning anything. So that battle, that part sucks, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a fan of that particular part of this whole process. I really wish that could work itself out. I'm not a binge eater. I'm not really even a snacker. So I have to force myself sometimes to try to snack throughout the day, which again, if I'm not hungry, I'm like, why am I putting food in my mouth? So that again, I have to force myself to do that. So that part I'm still working on. Still work in progress. But anyways, again, reasons versus excuses. Moving forward, I'm hoping to make sure that I don't ever overlap, that I do better, at overlapping my reasons versus excuses. I don't want my actual valid reasons to overlap and be what handicaps me and stops me from doing something. And I don't want them to become an excuse as to why I don't do something. And I challenge myself to make sure that I'm able to notice when they do become excuses, and like I said, to notice when that happens and to be able to overcome that. So again, today is January 10th. For all of you that may have quit your so-called New Year's resolution, I offer you this: get up and get back going. What's it gonna hurt if you actually succeed? So with that, I say thanks for watching. This has been Just My 3 Cents. My name again is Katrina, and you have a great day. And I think this is the last day we should officially be saying it, but Happy New Year. Bye.